my dad's make it hurt.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Pitchy podcast. We are your hosts, James
and Stephanie.
Well, here we are. We are here.
Yeah.
Today is an extremely special episode of the Pitchy podcast because Stephanie, we made it to our 100th episode. This is crazy. This is insane because it's just, oh gosh, Stephanie, where we have come from. Where has the time gone? It has flown. 3 full seasons of The Voice.
Yes. Incredible.
And it's just crazy.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Oh, James, I'm gonna be straight up. Listen, we on episode 100, and what do we say? We gonna keep it real. We gonna keep it 100. I'm keeping it 100. Number one, I am so grateful to be here with you this evening. So, our family has been sick with the sickness, the virus, and thankfully, my kids have been they've been healthy. Thank God, no symptoms. My husband was down for the count for a while, and I was feeling great, like energy-wise, a couple symptoms here and there. As he's getting better, I've started to feel some symptoms. My eyes, y'all, COVID eyes, that's a thing. Like,
it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. One morning I woke up and my eye was like, I'm not opening. I'm like, oh, that's what we're doing. So I'm feeling good. My energy is just low, but my energy is up tonight. I stored up all day. So that I can have energy for this episode tonight. So if I'm looking a little, I did my best, y'all. I know y'all love me despite, but if I'm looking a little, if the eyes are not in their normal shape, this is why. But I'm so excited to be here tonight to talk about our 100th episode.
100th episode.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. You know, work is getting crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like we always say, we are real people with real lives and real families and real careers.
Yes.
And I have been just running nonstop. I got to go out of town. I got this weekend and just a million and one things happening. But you know what? Staying busy, staying healthy, thank God.
Praise God, yeah.
And, really excited about this new year.
Yeah.
There's some things that I really want to work on, passions that Stephanie knows what they are.
Yes,
and,
I do.
That I really want to focus on getting back to my happy and really honing in and zeroing in on what makes James tick and what gives James joy.
Yeah,
and that's what I decided I'm going to work on this year. So
I love
look
that.
out, America. Y'all ain't ready.
Y'all
ain't ready.
Get ready. He's letting y'all know.
Got some things a brewing.
I love that.
But, Stephanie, I can't believe that we started this, now over a year ago.
Yes.
It was a crazy time.
Yes.
For me. I can speak for me personally because we were in the middle of preparing our townhouse to be put on the market to sell so we could move into our home. And there was just a million things going around. We did like a whole top to floor, not a full, like a whole remodel, but it was just, as you remember, crazy stuff going on. We found ways to tape. We got better with our technology a little bit.
Yes.
We used our non-existent budget to make things work.
Come on.
And we there was a manifestation of just casual talk. Something that
Yes.
started out as, oh my God, did you see
Yeah.
or did you hear
Yeah, tell them,
this?
James. Tell them how it originally started. Because it
So
really
for
started
those of
during
you,
the pandemic, correct?
yeah, it really did. For those of you that don't know, this started, gosh, way back in 2020, where it wasn't necessarily, Stephanie, I don't even know if it was necessarily that particular season that was on, because I know during the pandemic, the show stopped cold, as the world did stop cold, which we're now coming up on 4 years, which is insane.
Right.
Um, and I know they went to home and
Mm-hmm.
the people had to like Zoom their performances in. Like it was just
Yes.
crazy. It was a crazy time. But I just remember over the years
Mm-hmm.
seeing incredible renditions of some of my favorite songs.
Right.
And Stephanie and I have known each other. We just figured this out. Uh, we actually got reminded, truthfully, through social media.
That's right.
We had a friendiversary that was actually a true friendiversary.
Yeah.
Because Stephanie and I met each other at church not too long before we became friends on social media.
Mm-hmm.
But we have now known each other a decade, 10 years, which is
Insane.
insanity. But Stephanie and I, um, as we got to know each other over the years, we served with each other at our church in different musical capacities,
Mm-hmm.
where we were in the same choir, and then we actually both a few years back got on the same small worship team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you really start to bond, and we were on this worship team for a number of years together.
Yes.
And then out of that worship team, almost everyone from that worship team became section leaders of the choir. So I was the section leaders for the tenors and alto. Excuse me. Well, let me not take her thunder. I was a section. She said, "Hold on. No, you weren't. I was a section leader for the tenors and basses.
Yes.
Stephanie was actually the section leader for the altos,
That's
and
right.
a good friend of ours was the section leader for the sopranos.
Yeah.
So, sorry to make a really long story short. Stephanie and I, again, through multiple directions, kind of came together and started really. I think, Stephanie, it started with like when we heard something really good at church.
Yep.
Stephanie would usually be standing in front of me because I was in the back because I was taller. Stephanie would be in the front. She'd whip her head around like, like,
Right.
And Stephanie would start doing stuff like that. Take off her shoes sometimes, if somebody really was singing it down.
Yes.
And I'm a very vocal person in church. I was hollering and hooping, and when somebody was really like, catching the Holy Ghost, as we say in church. And that's kind of how it all started. Like, if we talk about the infancy, and Stephanie and I realized that we, like, vocally and musically, we really were a match. We loved the same things. We loved the same things vocally, whether it be a run, riff, tone, vibrato. I mean, we can go on and on. We loved the same music genre. When Stephanie and I, I don't think I had your number. I would send you clips, I think through Facebook Messenger or something.
Yeah.
Like, yo, check this out.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
She's like, yo! And then Stephanie started sending me stuff. And that's how it all began. Stephanie and I became closer. We became friends. Our families became friends. And then we just started, pandemic hit. I started sending her clips because I was just desperate because nobody was doing anything. Nobody was creating. Or if they were, they would do Zoom concerts and things like that.
Yes.
So I go to old episodes of The Voice.
Yes.
And find I put in my favorite song. I don't know. I put in a Amy Winehouse song or something. And it'd pull up all these voice singers singing an Amy Winehouse song. And I would send it to Stephanie and she'd be like, yo! She'd be these crazy emojis. If something was really good, we put fire emojis.
That's
or
right.
The dead emojis.
Yes.
The skull emoji
Yeah.
for we're dead. They took us out.
Yes.
And that's how it actually all started. Stephanie and I would then, after that, when The Voice came back, we would actually not watch the actual show,
Yeah.
but I would go to YouTube and pull up highlights of just the singers
Yes.
of the show. And, if it was a song I didn't know, unfortunately, I wasn't watching. I didn't
Right.
look. The songs that I didn't know, I was like, oh, and I listened to it, sent it to Stephanie, and then we get on the phone and discuss it.
Yes.
And then, Stephanie, I'll let you take it from there because me and my bright ideas came to Stephanie
Yes.
one day and
They
said,
did.
well,
They did. So, and let me just say that during this pandemic, in January of 2020, my son was born. So,
that's
so
Stephanie
I
had a
was
baby right before the world shut
just had a
down.
baby in the midst of all of this.
Yeah.
So grateful that he was born before everything shut down. But little did I know everybody else would be shut down with me. I knew I would be on lock. I didn't know everybody else would be on lock as well. So I am a mom of two now, locked up. Like, my child's not going anywhere. She's not going to school. My older daughter wasn't going to school. I'm with this new baby. And it was just such a beautiful lifeline to have not only the little dialogues with James about the clips that he would send and I would send, but then as he started sending the voice clips and we would have these discussions and these conversations, they were so life-giving to me because it was adult interaction that I was not having for multiple reasons in the middle of the day or in the afternoon. Like we would talk for at least a half hour on some of
Yeah,
these
sometimes longer. Like,
on like
don't let it be
single.
quiet. Don't let it be quiet rest
Don't
time.
let it be quiet rest time. I was talking for 2 hours. You know what I mean? About like
Yes, as
one.
you go. Oh, James, I gotta go get
I
these
gotta go get
kids
the
up.
kids.
Oh gosh.
But it was so life giving. So sometime in the summer of 2022, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
it the season 22 of The Voice was starting to do commercials and say that they were coming in the fall. And James was like, you know what? Our conversations are so good, we need to do a podcast. And I was like, blink, blink. And he probably brought it up once or twice more.
I didn't push her.
No, he didn't push me.
I know my friend too well.
He didn't push me.
Because I knew if I pushed her, she'd have been like,
And it actually worked out well the way that it worked out. So the week before The Voice was going to start, James and I were talking, and he was just like, "Are we gonna do it?" And I knew exactly what he meant. I don't even know if he brought up the podcast like specifically, but he was just like, "Are we gonna do it?" And I remember having this like conversation, like this split-second conversation with myself, and my initial reaction was no. And the no was out of fear. The no was, I don't know how to do a podcast. I don't know if I have the equipment. I don't know how to do this. Like, basically, I don't know how to do
I didn't want to
this.
sit there and just talk.
Right. I don't know how to do this. And anything that James and I do, we want to do it to the best of our ability. So I'm like, I don't know how to do this. And then quickly it was like, you can't say no because you don't know how to do it now. Get on YouTube. You can figure out how to do anything
YouTube
on YouTube.
University.
Yeah. So
and I need to add this in, Stephanie. And the recording platform that we used, I just happened to be doing the research, and I knew it was ordained because I found a 50% off coupon. I was like, Stephanie, we doing it. I bought it.
I said, well, alrighty then. Well, alrighty.
Yeah, I guess we are.
I guess we are. I guess we're going to learn how to edit. I guess we're going to learn how to podcast. I guess I have my husband's mic just sitting doing nothing for the time being. I can use that. I guess we can hook it up. And we literally had about a week before the premiere episode of The Voice came on for us to figure out how to do this.
And we took an old episode, right? And
yes, we did.
A really old episode. I forget from what season.
I don't even remember.
And we did a mock show, our first show, and it actually was really natural. It flowed. We almost it was almost like we didn't realize the cameras were on and the mic was on, because we just kind of just started talking.
Well, on that point, remember, James, like we turned our cameras off from jump because
that's right.
Remember, there were no cameras. Well, we did
We'd
have
be looking
cameras.
at each other
We
and
were
okay, turn your camera
off because the only conversations we ever had prior to was just on the phone. We didn't even
Yep.
FaceTime. We were just on the
No,
phone. So
correct.
we wanted to keep it like how we had originally been talking with no cameras. And
Right.
it did. It worked. It worked
It
for a while.
really did. And it was, we always call our podcast a little podcast that could, because Stephanie and I had no clue. We had absolutely no clue what it was going to turn into.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm about to give you your flowers, young lady, because let me tell you, we had no budget. We had no experience. We had no marketing team. And in walks Stephanie. She takes off her host hat. And then she's like, you know what? I'm going to learn how to do this. And she puts on her producer director hat. Next thing you know, Stephanie is taking her social media prowess. And I use that term loosely. But Stephanie is taking basically what she knows about social media. And once we start recording, she just starts tagging the contestants.
Mm-hmm.
And were you creating clips at that time, Stephanie?
I think I was. Yeah, I think I was. I would create a clip of like whoever we were talking about and just tag them on it so they could.
And then tag them.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you all know, we start hearing from the contestants, and Stephanie and I are truly beside ourselves.
Freaking out.
We are fangirl, fanboy.
Freaking out.
OMG, these people are on TV. And they're responding to our reels, and our shorts.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to thank Stephanie, you, for just having the genius idea to do something as simple as tagging, because I didn't know how to do any of that. Next thing you know, to make a really long story short, too late, we start hearing from the contestants, but we just keep doing it. We keep doing the shows. We keep tagging them. Stephanie keeps creating these incredible reels and things. And people are really starting to, like, next thing you know, people are really saying that, hey, you all, these are the contestants.
Mm-hmm.
We look forward to your podcast every week. And Stephanie and I are like, I mean, is this really happening? Is this really happening? They were like, you all have that first season, season 22, will always hold something so special to us here at the Pitchy Podcast, because you all did not have to respond the way you did. You didn't have to reach out the way you did. And you didn't have to just build into us the way you did, because you all were in the middle of just craziness.
Yeah.
As we came to find out later through interviews and conversations. Every week, to me, Stephanie, it felt like a holiday.
Yeah.
Like it felt like a birthday. It felt like Christmas. It felt like the first day of summer, like when you're a kid and you're not in school. Like every week felt like Stephanie would like call me, text me, send me screenshots. Oh my gosh, we heard from Kim. Oh my gosh, it would just be like craziness, and it just went from there. We always try to stay true to why we started this. We just want to have conversation about great music and a great vocal.
Yeah.
And a great performance.
Yeah.
And that's what we will continue to do.
Yeah.
Through life, through moves, through COVID, through I don't know, through everything.
Through the fire.
through the
through the
fire, to the
river, yeah,
limit,
to the
through
limit
the wall for a chance to be with
to be
all of
with
you.
you.
No, let me stop. But we never set out to be influencers. We
No,
never set out to be famous. We
no,
never set out to have a million followers.
no.
That's great and all, and
Great.
more power to the people who that's their hustle. This
Mm-hmm.
is not my and Stephanie's hustle,
Mm-hmm.
but we just want to take a moment to really thank the contestants of every season 22, season 23, and season 24.
Yeah.
Because we can truly say that we would be nothing without you.
That's right.
You all have been our lifeline
That's right.
through this entire process. You all are the reason why we keep going
That's right.
week in and week out.
That's right.
Because it was almost as if you all were starting to, I wouldn't say rely on us, but expecting us to be there, and to hear you all say that you have no idea what this does for me or did for me while I was actually in the trenches, while I was actually in the show.
And that was an unintentional, beautiful thing that happened, because I don't know that I don't think that I ever conceived that contestants would actually listen
No way.
to us.
No way.
You know, we were just trying to have a conversation, and in truth, we are called the Pitchy podcast because our conversations with each other were much pitchier than what they were much pitchier than what we've put on the actual podcast. But I think that, and I love that, we chose very early on in the podcast to speak our truths, but with love, kindness, and respect.
Sure did.
And I think that encouragement, the unintentional encouragement, like we would give encouragement, but we never really thought that anybody was listening, especially the artists were listening. But it's been a blessing to know that the encouragement that we've given them, the excitement that we have, and the good feedback that we have about their art meant so much to them.
Yeah.
Like it was such a blessing to know that, and that in knowing that, and as we continue to get feedback from artists from season 22, 23, 24, that our words actually meant something. Like you're saying, James, that is the fuel that continued to draw us and encourage us to continue to come, because it almost became like this little ministry that we were doing. Like,
Sure.
And that was not the intent, but I love how God can use anything, and that he will show up in anything. And I love that has been an unintentional gift of this show to the artists.
It has. Mm-hmm. It really, really has. So again, thank you all, season contestants, for taking the time to listen to us.
Yeah.
Thank you for adding fuel to the little podcast that could, and you all kept us chewing down that track. Stephanie, I can't take enough time to say thank you to you. This podcast would be nothing without you. It would be absolutely nothing. I'm not going to get choked up today because there is so much you do behind the scenes that I can't even begin. There's so much not only that you do, but so much that you have taken over from me. And you are not only the face half of the Pitchy podcast, but you are the unsung hero of the Pitchy podcast, because it just wouldn't run. It would not go. The fact that you just keep this engine serviced, this engine running, you are a master mechanic when it comes to this. And I just can't thank you enough for everything that you have done, both in front of the camera and mostly off of the camera. So thank you so much. I couldn't have asked for a better partner in crime, as I like to say. I ain't ready to stop.
No,
I
I'm
ain't
not
ready
ready
to
to stop
stop.
either. I'm not ready to stop either. I appreciate those words. Um, this podcast has really tapped into a part of creativity in me that I didn't know that I had, and I love and I'm so proud of all the work that I'm able to do and that I have learned to do and that I'm continuing to learn to do. I'm so proud of it. Like every product that I put out, I'm proud of, and it feels really good being at this point. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and you know, taking care of my kids is, that's, as James likes to remind me all the time when I say I'm a stay-at-home mom, he's like, well, last time I checked, this is how much, if you were to add up all the costs of a stay-at-home mom, this is how much you would be getting paid. And I appreciate that and I feel it. But it's so cool to be able to have time and to set aside some time to do something for me and to do something for us. But in particular for me, to express my creativity in different ways. And this has been an incredible outlet. And let me just say that this podcast would be nothing without you, sir. Your expertise and everything that you bring to the podcast, all of your expertise vocally, your knowledge, your wit. Like, I wouldn't want to do this on a regular with anybody else because I'm so grateful for not only our rapport that we naturally have, but just our friendship and just the way that we work together. So I'm
Yeah.
so appreciative of that. And I'm so appreciative of the fact that with your career and with your job, you continue to show up week after week after week. And that is not an easy task because you have a job, you have a life, you have a family, you have a very full life outside of this podcast, but you still choose to show up week in and week out. And I'm so grateful for that.
Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you. So, with that, we got some business to get down to, Stephanie. We just wrapped season 24 of The Voice. So
Yes.
this is our third season that we just completed of the Pitch podcast. And we have had a time to reminisce on the love we had. No, this isn't marriage at blush. But we've had a
Can be.
time to just take a moment to just look back at some of the great moments in the Pitchy podcast, of the Pitchy podcast, that jump out to us in particular. None in a particular hierarchy and
Right.
which one is better. These are just moments that we have tend to remember. So
Yes.
I'll start with you, Stephanie.
Okay, so my first one, and I won't reveal who these artists are, but I will say that there was a season where we were in pretty tight communication with a couple of the artists, a few of the artists actually, of that particular season, and had really built up a rapport and a friendship with them. And I received a message through our DMs that a couple of them were willing to try to fly James and I out to LA in order to see one of the episodes of the show. And let me tell you, when I say I nearly lost my mind, I nearly lost my mind. And that was for a few reasons. One, because it was just like, I cannot believe they are offering this. Number one, like,
In the middle of the season.
In the middle of the season.
In the middle of the season. And these are people who made a pretty deep run.
Pretty deep run in the season.
Pretty deep run during the season.
But another reason why we were losing it was because of different logistical things. We were like, how are we going to do this? Like,
and they were like, we're going to make it work.
Yeah.
They were like, we want you all out here.
And I was so stressed. Like, I was so happy, but I was so stressed because in reality, like in real life as an adult, like not as a 20-something with no husband, no kids, as a 40-something with a husband and kids, like at that particular time, it was not going to happen. And for James, in a different way, for different reasons, it was not going to happen.
No.
And in the end, we were not able to go. But the gesture was so mind-blowing that we were just like...
We're like, no, y'all didn't. No, you all didn't. That was just so selfless.
Yes. I couldn't believe it. So that is one of mine, for sure.
But we're not going to tell who It was. And y'all can guess all you want,
They know
but
who they are. Love
they
y'all.
know who they are.
Love
And they
y'all.
watch the Pitchy podcast.
Love y'all.
So we love you all. We love you too so much.
Yes.
And thank you for always supporting us.
Yes.
And thank you for always keeping it real with us.
Yes.
My first memory, and it's not necessarily a particular memory, but it's a mind-blown memory. My mind-blown memory, and this has happened over multiple seasons. I'm not going to reveal who they are, but they know who we're talking about. When we, again, started cultivating these relationships, not just texting or DMing relationships, but actually talking to some of the artists.
Yes.
I'm still tripping over them letting us preview some of their music before it was released.
Yes, James.
We got like the exclusive.
We did.
On quite a few artists over the different seasons.
Yes.
There was one in particular, and this person knows exactly who we're talking about, that we were so shooketh. Like we talked about it for a week. We talked about it for a week, and we just were like, nobody's making music like this.
Right.
No one.
No one.
No one.
No one.
And the fact that they felt safe enough, that they felt comfortable enough, that they entrusted us with their opus, right? Their masterpieces.
Yeah.
Before they were released, before they were even mastered, right? Before the masters were even completed, before they were finished.
Right.
Some of them, they were still working on the masters, but they were like so excited. Like, can you, do you mind listening to this? Like, do you mind listening to like something I'm working on? And like, we were like, are you kidding me? And I just remember, just listening to some incredible music.
Yes.
And I felt honored.
Yes.
I felt so honored and so humbled that we were given that opportunity to preview some masterpieces.
Absolutely.
That's my first one.
Quickly, I just want to give a shout out to season 22 artists, all of them, especially the ones that came on the podcast with us, because our first season of the actual podcast, we were not on YouTube. You could not see us. So they went into it. They went into a podcast with us, sight unseen. Our very first YouTube video was with Kim Cruz. So shout out to her because,
I think that actually 1 year ago.
Yes. I think that I love, and I was reluctant, y'all. I was reluctant to go full video and do a YouTube because I was like, I got to do this face. I got to beat this face before the podcast. I learned how to do it in 15 minutes. But I think that I'm so glad we decided to do it because I think seeing us is a whole other thing than just listening to us. Listening to us is great, but I think being able to watch us as well is awesome.
You got to see these expressions.
You get to see this, yes, all of my hands and all of my head and my hair going. See, all right, my second one. Speaking of interviews, this is and thank you again to every artist that has come on our little podcast. I can pick out a memory from probably each and every one of them because each and every interview has been absolutely phenomenal. Every artist that has come on has been ready. They've been game. And
even through the technical difficulties.
Even through technical difficulties, this, that, and the other.
Schedules.
Yeah,
and the time zone.
Thank you. Everybody, every single one. Right. Every single one has been incredible.
Yeah.
There's one in particular, though, that I will never, one moment in particular that I will never forget. And it is and once I say it, James, you might know the moment that I'm talking about. It's with Tasha Jessen. Do you know the moment that I'm thinking of? So at the back end of our of our interviews, we always ask the artist these rapid fire questions. And one of the questions that we asked her was, what is the album that you always come back to? Before I could finish the question, she came out of her mouth and said, Dawn Yeba. And James and I lost it. Like, I literally like fell over my chair. Like, if there's a way that I can cut that clip and put it into this YouTube, I will right now. What is the album that you always come back to?
Yeba, Dawn.
Oh!
Always.
No!
It's Yeba.
Oh my gosh!
Yeba, always.
It was hilarious. It was because I just was not expecting that. And Yeba has been on James and my heart since it came out. Since the moment it came out. And it's such a special album to both of us. I know it has this very significant meaning for me particularly. And so when she said that, we were done. We were just done.
Done.
So that's my second moment.
My second moment is with a particular artist from season 22 that just thinking about this, and for some reason, like, I started laughing because I thought this was going to be your second moment.
Okay.
The light and just the sheer comedy of Eric. Stephanie and I wanted Eric to just take over the podcast because the humor.
Oh my God, the humor of it all.
The zaniness.
Yes.
The quickness, the wit.
Yes.
Just the larger than life personality of Mr. Eric Who.
Oh, loved him.
I just was like, I couldn't get enough. Eric, let me tell you, you, in my opinion, I felt like you turned, I can't speak for Stephanie, I felt like you turned us into legit interviewers.
Right.
Like, I felt like that was the shift.
Right.
Like, you know, Kim obviously was our first. I'll never forget Kim. But Stephanie and I were so nervous because we were like, oh my gosh, a celebrity is talking to us.
Like, I felt like I was talking to, like, and she is. She's a megastar. Her voice, like, she's royalty. I felt like I was talking to royalty.
But I felt like from Eric on out, Eric made us comfortable.
Yeah.
Because he was so just a breath of fresh air.
Yes, he was.
Like, from the second, before we even started recording, from the second Eric came on camera, it's like Stephanie and I could just let out a sigh of relief.
Exactly. Like we just gonna have a conversation. We just gonna have a good kiki, a good chat, a good tea session. Like we just gonna chat.
Eric, we haven't spoken to you in just about a year, and I will never forget that interview because I just was like, okay, all right, because I would just get so nervous.
Yeah.
Before every interview, because again, we were fanboying and fangirling. These people were just on a national, a very popular national show.
That's right.
And you're sitting here on our little podcast talking to us. But to Stephanie's point earlier, every single last one of these contestants there was never an ounce of pretentiousness.
Never.
There was never an ounce of, okay, what are we talking about?
Right.
No.
Right. None of it.
It felt like all of them were our friends.
That's right.
It felt like all of them were our friends, and it just gave me so much joy. So thank you, Eric.
Yes,
thank you for making the Pitchy podcast legit interviewers. Because of your crazy zany self.
Yes.
We love you.
Love you. We sure
Stephanie.
do. All right, I'll share my last one, but as we always do, let me give an honorable mention. I want to give an honorable mention to Justin Aaron and to my husband for pitch hitting.
Holding
it down while James was in his undisclosed vacation spot.
Oh no, I was in Costa Rica. I was in Costa Rica. Living my best life.
Living his best life.
Living
Amen.
my yacht life. Come
Hallelujah.
on.
Hallelujah. Justin and we said this in a previous episode, the minute we knew James would not be able to record, or that he would be away, Justin was one of the first people that I thought of to ask to co-host with me, and he was a perfect choice.
Yeah, he was.
Loved
I was like,
co-hosting with
"Bruh,
him.
you can't take my job."
No, he was ready. He had his notes. He was ready. And also my husband, it was so cool because it was like bring your husband to work day, kind of. And he had his notes and he was ready and he did such a great job. And it was so cool for him to get to experience what we do as far as recording the podcast. And it was the first time, and the only time, that I've ever recorded with anybody in the same room. So that was a new dynamic for me, having to not talk to the person beside me, to have to talk to the camera, but talk to him as well. He made that really easy to do, and he did a great job. So
let me tell you something about her husband, you all. When you first meet him, he comes off as quiet, reserved, smiling, very pleasant. But let me tell you, Mr. Matt has a lot to say.
A lot.
Not only does he have a lot to say, he has a lot of wisdom to impart.
Yes, he does.
And anytime that her husband and I get together and start talking about music, it is a joy to me.
And he feels the same.
He and I will start talking technical stuff, right. And that would be like, what are you talking about?
Look, I'm just like,
And it is a joy to spend time, and not only throughout this period, I feel like the Pitchy podcast has brought me and Stephanie closer. It brought our respective spouses closer.
100%.
Because we got to give them shout outs. Because before Matt and my wife, Allison, before Matt came on the show, so much time has gone into, and Stephanie and I always try to get creative, being that I work from home and she's a stay-at-home mom, with our recording times. But there were seasons and times where I was moving, kid stuff,
right.
This and that with travels,
right.
Where and the sacrifice that our families have made,
right,
for us to make this possible. We just want to send a special shout out to Allison and Matt.
Absolutely.
Matt
Absolutely.
Who, ironically, you all grew up in the same town. Grew up in the same hometown.
Crazy.
Which is crazy. All right, little fun fact about Stephanie and James.
Yes,
our
absolutely.
spouses grew up in the same hometown.
Yes, it was so random. So random.
Which is not where we live now.
No, it's not.
Completely different state, far away.
Far away.
All right. Okay, my last one.
Oh, I didn't do my last one.
Oh, look at me. All right,
I gave an honorable mention. Let me do my last one real quick.
Yeah.
Then I'll let you close it. There have been so many epic performances over our 3-year tenure. If I were to name, I'd leave off somebody epic. So I'm not going to name. The only name that I'm going to give is the one episode and the one performance that I continue to come back to. It is my unicorn performance. It is my lightning in the bottle performance. It's the one that I could not wait to talk about when it happened. And I wasn't sure that you would feel the same way about it. But once I knew that you did, it was everything that I wanted to do on this podcast, was to find a really epic performance and to be able to talk about it with you and to be able to share that. And that performance was, can you guess?
What season?
Season 22.
Okay. Single or duet?
Duet.
Oh. Was it Bodie and no?
It wasn't that one. Okay. That would be my second one, but this one was a unicorn.
Okay. Was it Alley Keck and
nope.
No?
No, because that was season 23. The minute I say it, you're gonna roll off your chair.
Give me one of the artists, and then I'll see if I can.
Then you're gonna know it for sure. Sasha.
Oh gosh, yeah. Electric Feel. Yeah.
Electric Feel.
Oh.
Sasha and Devix.
Sasha and Devix.
Sasha and
Well,
Devix.
I need to revisit that. I had to let it go because it was getting to be an obsession.
This is what I'm saying. Listen.
It was getting to be an obsession.
In prep.
Sasha and Devix. Which were awesome. Two incredible artists who actually both came on the Pitchy podcast.
Yes.
Go check it out.
And
it was getting Sasha Devix. It was getting to be an obsession, so I had to let you all go for a little bit.
I
and
know
I'm going to revisit you all, and I hope it doesn't become an obsession again.
Right.
Because it was.
Listen, it became an obsession last night when I started thinking about this episode.
Oh no, you didn't. Did you
I went back. I revisited so deep that I went back to listen to what we had to say about it. I went back and listened to our original podcast about it, and went right back into the moment. I'm not going to go into all of that. I will link it in the show notes. Electric Feel was such a moment. It was such a moment.
Yeah.
It was, for me, it was one of those, like, I will never forget where I was, and I will never forget watching it for the first time, because it was just a unicorn. It was magical on every level, and it literally continues to be that way for me. And to be able to talk to them about it after the fact, after the season, but individually, put it all over the top, to hear that Sasha didn't know the song and how stressed she was about that, but how she was comforted by Devix, who completely arranged the song, and they worked together to create this masterpiece that you can stream. They re-recorded it, y'all, so you can go on and stream it. I'll always remember that.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I have an artist who because this artist put so many epic performances together.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Not only epic, and I'm going to give it away by telling you this next clue, Stephanie, but I do want you to guess who this is.
Okay.
Not only epic performances together, in my opinion, my humble opinion, but epic performances of my favorite genre of music.
Okay.
Not necessarily time of music, but just genre of singing. I, in an unhealthy way, go back to these performances, and it's not just one; it's like 3 or 4.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have you try to guess who this is.
This season?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it Mr. Royals?
Of course.
Of course.
I just,
of course.
Mac, of course. It's ridiculous. I still can't put Your Lost Without You. I cannot put Your Gravity. I cannot put Your Untitled. I can't put them down. I can't put those specifically. I can't put them down.
I still can't believe he actually did Untitled. How does it feel?
Yeah, I
still can't
put
believe
those
that
down.
actually happened.
And not only can I not put those down, I can't put your rehearsal for Untitled down. I can't put what you did in the rehearsal. Like, you were just the holleration. The holleration. And then you had the nerve to make Mr. Legend holler. Come on. In the rehearsal.
Come on.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, Mac, I just, bruh. And then it takes me down that little rabbit hole, Mac, where I start pulling up your other stuff that you didn't do on The Voice. I heard another version of your Untitled, and there was this run that you did, he's like, your mouth barely moves, and that's just like, how do you? That's just, how does it happen? I don't understand. So yeah, Mac Royal, he bumped believe it or not, Devix out of that. Because remember, that was kind of Devix for me.
Yes, it was.
Because Devix, I used to go crazy.
I still do.
The Arctic Monkey stuff. Like, that was my favorite performance of yours.
You were, you love that. I loved it. Yeah.
And then, of course, the Electric Feels. but Mac Royals, it's just because it's just pure R&B singing, and that's the type of music that Stephanie and I just are drawn to the most.
We had a lot of it this season.
Woo! So yeah, the reason why I said Mac because I've been begging, like even if it was a country version, I wanted someone to do Untitled for like ever since we started recording. I was like, somebody's got to do Untitled.
That's right. That's
right. Got to do it justice.
That's
Mac
right.
Royal,
he did it.
bruh.
He did it. He did it. He did it.
That's it. Stop it. Stop it. Have it your way.
Have it your way.
All right, Stephanie, we gotta wrap this up. And how we always would wrap up our shows, our interview shows, would be we'd have a rapid fire question segment where we just throw out random questions, and the first thing that pops in your head, Stephanie, I truly have not thought. Like these are not premeditated.
Mine are.
Okay, well, I couldn't because I was like, you know what, I want to do it like.
But here's what we can do. Here's what we can do. So they are a little bit more rapid and a little bit more random. We can go back and forth. You pick 3 for me. I'll pick 3 for you.
Okay.
So right. You go first, and you ask me one.
Okay. Favorite movie genre?
Romantic comedy, making a comeback. Oh yeah. You know why? Because I like light. I like light stuff in my life at this point. You know, I can't deal with the stress.
Oh yeah. So rom-coms it is. All right. What's your first question for me?
All right. What is your favorite karaoke song?
Always and Forever.
Oh.
Always and Forever. That's my go-to karaoke song.
That is my parents' wedding song or favorite song. I believe that's true.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Always and Forever.
Carol's going to make you sing that now.
Oh, she is. Oh, Mama Washington. Okay. I'll dust these old pipes off. All right,
your
Stephanie. What's your Starbucks order?
So I'm more of a Dunkin' girl. I will give you my Starbucks order. Okay. But I'm more of a Dunkin' girl because Dunkin' has more drive-thrus around here, and with kids, I can't be walking into the store. You know, it's just such an inconvenience to be walking into the store. There are no close by drive-up Starbucks around here. But when I do go, I get a caramel macchiato, and I get 2 pumps of the classic syrup because I need it sweet.
Gotta have the classics.
Yes.
All right. Awesome.
What is your dream vacation location?
Oh gosh, it's got to be Liberia, Costa Rica. I have been there twice. You all, I tell everyone, like, you got to go to Costa Rica. Like, if you want to know, like, if you want to be treated like royalty, y'all, I will hook you up. I'll give you the website. If you got a little crew, you can get a crew together. Doesn't matter how small. 4-bedroom house, 9-bedroom house. You'll get there, and it's just royal treatment from start to finish.
Love that.
Meals, drink.
Come on.
Activity. Drink. Yeah. Drink. Yes. Drink. Everything. Costa Rica, Liberia, Costa Rica. Yeah.
Okay.
Playa de Octagal.
Come on.
Octagal Beach.
Come on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay. Ooh. What? Oh. What's the album you always come back to, Stephanie?
I have 2.
Oh, yes.
I have 2.
I can't wait.
One, Yebba Dawn.
Of course.
Yebba Dawn. Here's the other one that's so random, but it always just sneaks back up on me. Y'all will never guess. Because I have a few.
I mean, okay, 90s R&B?
No.
Or 2000s?
2000s. We've talked about it, actually, James. We've talked about it a couple of times, but I don't think the Pitchies would know.
Male or female artist, or is it a group? Ooh. NSYNC?
No, even though I love me some, I love NSYNC, y'all. I'm here for the tour. Come on, reunion tour, but not NSYNC.
Then no, I don't know.
Danity Kane.
Ah, which
Self-titled
one? Welcome
album.
to the Dollhouse.
The self-titled first album. We in the car. We ride slow. We doing things that the girls don't do. Listen, did he put them things together? Listen, show stopping at the latest spot. Come on. Listen, that whole album was gold. I go back to it. It won't let me go. If you don't know that Danity Kane album, because some of y'all might be a little bit young for it, listen. Diddy had them snatched. He had them vocals snatched. And if you don't know that this was a group that Diddy did indeed put together, but he did it on, what was the show called? It was a reality show.
Making
the band. Exactly. There's probably some nostalgia around like me watching the show as far as like loving the album so much because we got to watch the album being made. But
that was
banger after banger after banger after
and
banger
then
on the
and
album.
then had the nerve to put out sophomore. Do you have a first?
Listen, shout out to y'all, Danity Kane.
I love you, D Woods.
Yes.
Sorry.
All right, I'm gonna ask you the same question. Which the album you come back to?
Okay. First album is probably my favorite singer of all time. A lot of people don't know who this singer is, but I think she is the greatest singer. She is a singer. This woman has 6 octaves. I kid you not. You got to listen to her. And my favorite singer of all time is a jazz singer named Rochelle Farrell. She's a Philly girl. And she has an album that came out in 2000 called Individuality, Can I Be Me? That is the album. I just played it today.
Look at that.
I play Rochelle Farrell. I play something from that album at least once a week.
Wow.
For the past 24 years.
Wow.
I've played something from that album at least once a week.
Incredible.
That's how impactful. I have learned range from this woman. I have learned vocal manipulation from this woman. I have learned so many technical things. She is a technician's worst nightmare. She is an accomplished pianist. She was singing background for some of the biggest artists when she was like a teenager.
Wow.
Rochelle Farrell, check it out. Individuality, Can I Be Me? And if you're really into jazz, her first album that came out in like the early 90s, late 80s, it's called First Instrument, where she takes jazz standards and she does it on her own. And she has a song called Extensions where she wrote, and it's just her and the piano. It's like, it reminds me of a jazz version of Mariah Carey's Vanishing, which if you are a true Mariah Carey fan, you know Vanishing was from her first album. It never made it big, but one of her greatest songs ever.
Yeah.
Second album that I always come back to, and it came out probably the same year that the Rochelle Farrell album came on, and that's Voodoo. That's D'Angelo's sophomore offering of Voodoo. I think Rolling Stone just named. I think Rolling Stone just named Untitled. How Does It Feel? The second greatest R&B song of all times. I don't know what the greatest R&B song of our times is that they named. I'm assuming it may be a Stevie Wonder or like a Marvin Gaye song.
Yeah, that would make sense.
But D'Angelo's second album, like, it took him 5 years. Like, I think Brown Sugar came out in 95, but his second album, Voodoo, y'all, it's just... Someone said one of the greatest. It's like Stevie Wonder songs in the key of life. It will never be duplicated.
Yeah.
Never be duplicated. Never, ever. That is the album I always come back to. And it's not just Untitled. And I just don't come back to the album. I come back to his live offerings of the songs from this album.
Come on.
D'Angelo is, like, I put him up there with y'all, Donny Hathaway. Okay.
Come on,
D'Angelo,
that's big time.
The greatest singers.
Greats.
And musicians of all time.
Amen.
Well, you know what, Stephanie, we can go on and on, but we've been talking for over an hour. You know how we get when we get going.
Listen.
We just talk. But y'all, we got realized and we got things to do.
Yeah.
Stephanie, congratulations. Congratulations on just 100. It has been a ride. It has had its ups and downs. It has had its starts and stops.
Yeah.
But like you said, and like I'm going to say, I would not want to be on this roller coaster with anyone else except for my ace boom coon, my sister, my close, dear friend. Your blood, Stephanie, I don't even consider you like a friend anymore.
That's right.
We're family.
That's right.
And I just thank you so much for just you, and not only you, the unapologetic you, the sincere you, the take it or leave it you, the Jersey girl you, all of you. I thank you so much
Thank
for
you, friend.
this incredible ride that we've
Thank
been
you,
on.
friend. Thank you, brother. And yeah, y'all hit me at an interesting time in my life because not only am I Jersey, but I'm 40. So I'm just like, look, you get what you get.
Get what you get. Okay.
And the same for you, friend.
And if we on the Patreon, Stephanie might cuss, but
y'all gonna have to pay for that. Speaking of pay, just in case you want to help us celebrate our 100th episode, I'm going to let you know how to do that. Most of those ways are free, but there is one way that you can pay in order to support us. But here are the free ways, the very easy and free ways. Most of you are already doing these things, but you can follow us on Instagram and any podcast platform that you are using, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be a great support. Another way is you can like and share and comment on our IG content and on our videos on YouTube. Another way is that you can give us 5 stars on Apple Podcast and write a review. We say Apple Podcast because that is the main podcast way of tracking who is listening, and that will get our listenership up the more people that give us reviews and stars. So you can do that. Here's the last. We have merch now.
Yes, we do.
So there will be a link in our bio on Instagram, and you can see all of our merch. We have mugs, we have a t-shirt, we have a hoodie, we have stickers, we have magnets. You will see new graphics of James and I that I think are pretty cool. You will also see some catchphrases that you've heard us say, like a scary vocal, or the snappage of it all, or tsunami singing. You got that oil on your throat. I am shooketh. So go ahead and check that out. Vocal tsunami. We had quite a few of those this season. I had to say that quite a few times this season. So again, there will be a link in our bio on our Instagram link, and you can check out our merch there.
Well, you all, it has been a blast, but we are nowhere near finished.
Oh, no.
We got some crazy, just say it now, interviews coming down the pike for you all from our season 24 contestants.
Yes.
And a little sprinkling of our superlatives.
That's right.
Our favorites from the, season 24 of each round. So we got all that coming. So much content coming down. We can't even keep up.
Nope.
So in the meantime, in between time, you all, thank you so much for tuning in. Also, let us know in the comments, how long have you been listening?
Yeah.
What do you enjoy about the Pitchy podcast? Yeah. What would you like to see from us?
That's right.
In the Pitchy podcast? What do you want us to talk about as far as on the seasons as well? We'd love to hear about it. We may or may not, no, just kidding. But we love to hear about it, you all. We love hearing from you all.
Yes.
And we love that a lot of you will loyally tune in and listen to us.
That's right.
Just talk about some great singing and great performing.
That's right.
So Stephanie, thank you so much for this opportunity to sit down with you, and I had a blast.
Me too. Thank you.
Here's to the next 100.
All right, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Well, everyone have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. And we will be seeing you shortly.
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.